Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. You know the drill. Before we get going, if you want to see this whole video with no commercials and you get the extended video, go to daixrp.com to join through the Patreon, or if you'd rather join through YouTube, click this little join button below all of my videos. Here we go. First thing, all this Trump tariff stuff that's terrified the markets and caused the stock market to drop and crypto to go up and down, up and down. Everybody's freaked out about it because it's a new thing. I believe it's a new thing that's going to have a very good ending for the economy. And I believe that what you've really been watching is Trump doing public negotiations that are a necessary part of this. As you can see, now Israel removes all tariffs on U.S. goods to avoid President Trump's reciprocal tariffs. You can see where this is going, because all these countries, even if they're pitching a fit on the front end, they all know that they've been taking advantage of the U.S. And for some sick reason, none of our politicians have ever had the guts to do what he's doing. So today's Liberation Day, April 2nd, Liberation Day, and the markets are already, it says the markets are already reacting. This was put out on the 1st. Crypto and equities are climbing as investors brace for the president's sweeping tariff plan. Bitcoin hits 85.5K. Gold touches 3130 amid global trade fears. It hits a record, actually. Market sentiment lifted by big Bitcoin buys from firms like Strategy, Tether, and Meta Planet. And then we have this. This is Stuart Alderati. Apparently, there's going to be an unveiling 2025 State of the Crypto Holders report, largest ever survey of crypto holders in the U.S. And this is that National Cryptocurrency Association that Stuart Alderati is a part of, and Ripple. Look at this. MoonPay has been doing their MoonPay madness in celebration of March Madness. And look who is winning XRP in their little contest. I don't know if it's a contest or just a media play. But XRP, looks like XRP is going to take the championship on that one. Then we've got Dom from EZA. Now, remember, EZA, these guys have they're both, I think, Harvard graduates. They created an app for XRP developers to help educate developers on how to build on the XRP ledger. He says it's a weapon of mass adoption. Record builders learning about the XRP ledger on Easy App. XRP ledger trending on X. This is what mass adoption looks like. Then we have John Deaton. Let me see what the name of this guy's show is. Let's see. It's not that. It's Block Fuel. Okay, so Block Fuel had John Deaton on for an interview. Check this out. I won't play the whole thing, but I'll play this part.
I know you've been talking quite a bit about that, but would love to.
Yeah, it's been a long 4+ years. I was at the Digital Asset Summit. Brad Garlinghouse was on stage. He broke the news on X about 15 minutes before going on stage that the SEC decided to drop the appeal that they were appealing. So everybody knows, the judge said originally that Ripple, when they made some early sales to institutions, that they should have registered them and fined Ripple for that, but said that secondary market sales, which was what I was all concerned with and XRP holders were concerned with, that if you go on Coinbase or Kraken or anywhere else and you buy XRP, you're not buying a security, you're buying, a digital token, a digital currency. But the SEC was appealing that under Gensler because they were going after secondary sales. They were going after Coinbase and Kraken, and they were claiming that not just XRP, but Solana, Cardano, all of these tokens on the secondary market were securities. And so Election happens, Gensler's gone, new SEC drops the Coinbase cracking cases, and now this is the last one, dropping their appeal, which basically says in so many words that these cryptos are considered digital commodities. Bitcoin's not the only digital commodity, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, etc.
So I saw the price jumped about 10% on that news. Any impact you think this will have, like proliferate across Bitcoin and everything else kind of moving forward?
Well, I think what it's sending that message. I think that the SEC taking its boot off the neck of the industry, which that's exactly what it was doing. And then you talk about the strategic Bitcoin reserve that the president set up, where he's directed the commerce secretary, who's a Bitcoiner with hundreds of millions worth of Bitcoin and minority owner in Tether, right, to acquire more Bitcoin along with the Secretary Treasurer in a budget neutral way. That's as aggressive as you can get. I agree with what Brad Garlinghouse said today on stage, and he said that the industry and the market has not priced in all of the tailwinds that are at the back now of the industry. When you add that up, and then you add the fact that now the Office of the Comptroller has come out and said that it is okay for banks to custody crypto, you're going to start seeing, the Charles Schwabs, the Bank of Americas, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, they're all going to start offering crypto custody services. You know what I mean?
I saw BNY Mellon, and I've heard, whispers of what you're saying, and yeah, it just seems pretty obvious. Really interesting to see. I don't know if the timing was set up like that. It almost seemed like too perfect there, but you just mentioned the president, the first pro-crypto president that we've had. He made a big splash at Bitcoin Nashville, and then we're going to see if maybe he'll show up or something. Probably not at Vegas. But like, in terms of the Trump meme coin, what are your thoughts?
Okay, I just wanted to play you some of that. Now, this right here is Congressman Troy Downing, and he's talking about the Stablecoin Act. This is, I think the Stablecoin Act is going to be the thing that really blasts things off in terms of injecting tons of liquidity into the crypto market.
It comes down to, as my good colleague from New York had mentioned, is understanding how those backings are. Having been a regulator in the past, you cared about solvency, you cared about risk-based capital, you cared about reserves, and making sure that that's believable, and everybody absolutely trusts that, because I think that's foundational to this. And again, some of the stuff that we're seing in the in the Genius Act and on the Senate side of this, and again, the good senator from New York mentioned this as well, is having that threshold of what can happen on the state side. I think that's really compelling, because we do that in securities already. What's a intrastate offering that is outside of the Securities Act of 1933. So finding that that efficiency where you can do something and have the states decide what works in there. In our bill, I'm pretty happy with it. We've taken a lot of feedback from stakeholders, and some of the things that have already been mentioned here, like not permitting interest to be earned on it. I think that's paramount to the a surviving banking industry, and I think you put it eloquently, who's going to be doing the loans. I think that's an important part of it, and I'm really excited about the energy behind this.
All right, good stuff. Now, let me see. Now this is Eric Trump? He was on with Mornings with Maria about the debanking stuff. Listen to this.
Aiming to create the world's largest crypto miner and build its own Bitcoin reserve. Joining me now is Trump Organization Executive Vice President and the President's son, Eric Trump. Eric, great to see you.
How are you, Maria?
Great. Congratulations on this. Tell us what you're trying to do and why a Bitcoin reserve is needed.
Yeah, Maria, I never thought I'd fall into the world of crypto until every bank started canceling us for absolutely no reason whatsoever, other than the fact that my father was in politics, right? I mean, we got canceled by absolutely everybody. They came after us viciously. And it wasn't until that time that I realized how important crypto was, right?
It wasn't just him that got canceled. Brad Garlinghouse imagine that, Brad Garlinghouse had his bank account canceled. Yours truly had my bank account canceled. I never have said the bank because I don't want to say the bank, but I had not one but 2 accounts canceled because I was buying crypto.
I think that's cheaper, faster, more transparent. You can't be canceled. That's global. And it's what made me fall in love with Bitcoin. It's what made me fall in love with, DeFi and CeFi and stable coins. And we put a lot of our effort into it. We're building a great company, World Liberty Financial. Everybody's talking about it. It's doing phenomenally well. We just launched a stable coin. On the other side, American Bitcoin. I think it's going to be one of the great companies out there. So I truly believe in it. And really, my epiphany was, again, cancel culture and what these financial institutions controlled by very few at the top were able to do to people that they didn't like, even families like ours that had a lot of zeros at the end of their balance sheet.
Well, that's incredible that's one of the catalysts that got you into this. Which banks canceled you? What happened?
Oh God, everybody. Capital One being the largest. I've sued them recently. Chase canceled us.
Okay, so it was Capital One, because I know that Capital One also canceled Melania Trump, I understand as well. So it was Capital One. Yeah. Who else?
Maria, you can't believe when you get those calls, right? And we have properties, commercial buildings that have thousands of...
I mean, this is some sick stuff, folks, and it really went on, and it involved all the banks, and that's wasn't just the SEC suing Ripple. This was like a coordinated government effort to try to kill this entire industry. Okay, man, I've already run out of time. I've got a lot more, so I'll save it for the group. Remember, go to daixrp.com. I'm doing a lot more extra content in there probably today. But you can go to daixrp.com if you want to join through the Patreon. If you'd prefer to join through YouTube, click the join button right below this video. I'm a digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.